Hello everyone, welcome to Dhaapps Java course. This is the session on iterative statements in Java. So today we are interested to learn about the various types of loops in Java and how many types of loops are there, and we shall see the coding part of them as well. And let us not forget that loops are one of the most important parts of Java code. So anyone who wishes to pursue this particular language for the hackathons or any other purposes. So loops are one of the most important things over there. So the first part is what are iterative statements or loops. So often it happens in a code that we need to execute a specific part of a code many times, either for some specified times or until and unless some condition becomes true. So now it becomes very cumbersome for a programmer to write the same piece of code over and over again. So that is when the loops come into existence. The loops in Java are so designed that one will find it very easy to learn them, and once they get the concept of the thing, it will be easier for them to approach any code problem on looping or something like that. So any loop in Java, any particular loop has certain parts. So the parts of a loop include the first part being the initialization part, that is the initial position or the initial value from which the loop should start. The next comes the condition which when is true the loop executes, and when it turns to false the loop terminates. The next part is the increment part, that is the loop control variables, that is the variables which will run that particular loop. That is, in the first part I just now told about the initialization part. So what is initialized? The loop control variables, that is those variables based on whose value the code executes. And the last part is the increment or decrement part, that is change in the value of the loop control variable, the part which is responsible for changing the uh, value of the loop control variables. And the next part comes the body of the loop, that is the code that needs to be executed when the loop is running. Suppose now let's take an example of printing hello 10 times. So until and unless, suppose I have got a loop control variable that is I. So until and unless I becomes 10, the loop will keep on running. So as the loop keeps on running, so in the body of the loop will be written that particular code which will enable us to see this hello on the computer screen. Now let's take an example of a condition based loop. For instance, until and unless the user enters 0, we will keep on adding the numbers. So this is an example of a condition based looping statement or looping code. So now we'll learn about how many types of loops are there. So basically, Java loops are of two types or two classes: entry controlled and exit controlled. So what are entry controlled loops for that matter? Entry controlled loops are those loops in which the testing code, that is the testing part or the validation part, is checked before entering into the loop body. That is, if the expression or the test expression evaluates to false, then the loop is not even run once. And under exit control loop, the loop body is run at least once, even if the condition evaluates to false. So here, the condition is checked after the body of the loop is at least executed once. So now under entry control loop, we have got for loop and while loop. Okay. And under exit control loop, we have got do while loop. So now we will see an example of them. So I'll turn on Blue Jay over here. So here I'll create a new class. I'll name it looping. Sorry. So here I start writing public class looping. public static void main string args. So here I'll start writing the loop. So first let's go for a for loop. So for int I equal to 0, I should be less than 10. I should be plus plus. I guess I made a mistake over here. I should be less than equal to 10. So this, the code that I'm writing is for writing my name 10 times. Now here I will write system dot out dot println. Hello. That's all for my code. Now I'll compile it. So class command no syntax errors. Now I've done that. So here I've got 10 times hello. So what happens in this code now? Let's go for the line by line analysis of this particular code. So the first two lines, that is public class looping and public static void string edges, they have already been described or they have already been analyzed in the previous videos. Kindly refer to the previous videos for understanding more on this. Now going for the loop part, so this is the for loop, starting of the for loop actually. So for loop is also called top control loop. Why? Because all the three parts of the loop, that is the three most important parts of the loop, that is the initialization part, the test expression part, and the increment decrement part, all are in one line, and as it is an entry control loop, so this particular code is checked before getting inside the system or the loop body actually. And this one, this highlighted part, this is actually the loop body, and it is the loop body is enclosed within the curly braces, and this is executed as long as the loop goes on running. So this was for the for loop. Now let's go for the other entry control loop, that is the while loop. So what happens in while loop is that while, okay, so the loop initialization of the loop control variable, so int I is equal to 1 while I less than equal to 10, system.out.println and hello, sorry, I plus plus. Compile. Now I'll execute it. So again I have got 10 times hello. So what happens in this while loop is that in while loop, the loop control, the loop initialization part, the initialization of the control statements of the loop, they are done outside the loop body actually, and the while statement only carries the text expression part of it, and this one, the increment or decrement part, is inside the loop body actually. So this was for the while loop. Now I'll come to the exit control loop. Now let's come for the exit control loop. So the exit control loop runs like this: do and then while and then a semicolon. So while I less than, let's give a false condition, while I equal to 0. Now if I go to run this, compile, and then environment string edges, see the loop body is executed at least once, even if the test condition evaluates to false. But keeping this in mind, let's analyze this particular codelet. So here we find that when I'm initializing I, it is the value of I is 1. Now we know that 1 is never equal to 0. So this particular thing becomes evaluates to false, and moreover, I'm incrementing this particular the value of I by 1s. So this no longer remains 1, it becomes 2. But so this code itself becomes a false test expression, right? So even if this is evaluated to false, the body of the loop, that is these two lines, they are executed at least once. Even if the test expression is false. Here I will prove that the body of the loop has been executed at least once by printing another line that is the value of I over here. Now let's go for the thing. 2. So as I had told, okay. Now let's come for some condition based code. That is, suppose we need to find out the factorial of a number. So how are we gonna achieve that? Suppose the number is maybe 20. Let's consider 20, and I want to find out the factorial. So int fact is equal to 1. So now what I'll do is that I'll go for a for loop. The for loop is one of the best loops actually in Python, in Java. So for I, okay, okay. So for int I, okay, int j equal to 1, j should be less than equal to I, j should be plus plus. So I'll rub this part. Fact into equal to j. So we can, um, now print the value of fact. Let's compile this. So class compiled. Now we'll go for the execution part. Oh God, I guess I have made some mistakes. Let's compile. There must be some garbage value. What is the mistake that I might have made over here? That stands for the command line actually. So that is, let's make this number a bit small. Let's make it 4. Oh, okay, 4. So the factorial of 4 is 24. So our code has successfully run. So that was the example of a condition based looping statement. Okay. So now we can move away. Now not all the 3 parts are compulsory in this particular for loop. So since I've done already this part, this initializing part I've done outside, so I can omit that. I can just run the loop. I guess it will be compiled. Yes, it is compiled, and now if I run it, I'll get the same result, irrespective of whether I've done that. So not all the 3 parts of a loop are always compulsory. Okay, so it's the freedom of the developer or the programmer for that matter to understand, and he or she has the full right to place the loop control variables just like the way at any place where he or she wants it. So this was for the exit control loop and the entry control loop, and an example of both number based and condition based looping statement. Now later on in the course we'll find out various types of loops, that are empty loops, infinite loops, and all such things. So this was for the basic part of the loop. Okay. More on loops will be done in the various next videos that are about to come. So if you people have any other examples of loops which are maybe number based, where that is for some specific number, or they are maybe condition based, okay, kindly do write down in the comments that and kindly make a list in the comment that what are the types of loops, or what are the codes or the programs you think have the number based approach, and what are the codes you think have the condition based approach. Do write down in the comments. So that was all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.